All right, back again. I'm telling you what, this is nuts. So it did that buffering thing again, guys. I know everybody's not even in here yet. Hey, Stace. I don't know. I have no idea what is going on. What kind of games are being played here? But all of a sudden, I was there, and then next thing you know, it went to that buffering, and I had a black screen, and I just wasn't coming back up on. So I don't know what was causing that. It's crazy. So anyway, we're gonna start all over again. Unbelievable. So we'll give it a minute and get some for people to get into this chat. Crazy. I don't know. It's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing what's going on. I mean, I know the other day they didn't like it that I was talking about Walmart, but I'm not talking about Walmart today. So I don't know what that's all about. So anyway, we're going to give it a minute here for people to jump back in. Yeah, it's so cold that the stream froze. Exactly. I'm sitting there talking about how cold it was, and I was going to show you guys something that I thought was really neat. And all of a sudden, everybody was gone. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it's getting colder in New York, obviously. And I was going to show you this. This is what I was going to show you guys. So we got two there. And then over here, we got Max and then Bella. So I got four cats on the bed with me. And that's how I know it's getting colder. Because they're like, they don't want to be outside. So absolutely crazy. So, but yeah, they like to hang out. Now Bella just started coming back in. Heather's in school, and so that's why she's kind of just hanging out in here now, and she will. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, so it's definitely getting cooler. Today we were in the 70s and stuff like that here today, but it was nice. I mean, I was not complaining at all. I like this time of year. I definitely like when it's in the 70s and when it's in the low 50s, high 40s at night for sleeping. To me, that's perfect. So, but okay, so let's get back into our topic. I don't know. Now my moderators aren't even here. Ay, ay, ay. I hope hopefully more people jump back in here. That was weird how that did that. I don't know what happened. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the hurricane and the effects it has. And we were talking about the Bahamas and the devastation down there. And there was so many people that have contributed and helped down there. And I was talking about the guy that had bought 100 generators and donated it for the people in the Bahamas so that they could have power. And then you had Royal Caribbean Cruise Line was bringing all kinds of food. And yeah, I know Wolfang and JJ. I don't know what's going on with it's unbelievable. So I don't know what they're doing. That's like they did it to me three times on Wednesday. Well, twice. I had to start three times on Wednesday, and then they did it. Then they're doing it today again. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, so we were talking about the people stepping up and helping, and it's nice to see. It really, really is nice to see. It gives me a lot of hope, for mankind. Yeah, for whatever reason, they're saying what it was saying there on my thing was there was a problem with the connection. But the weather is fine outside. It rained earlier, but Trucker Hershey, try to go out and come back in. So yeah, so try to sign out and then sign back in, Trucker Hershey, and maybe that will help. JJ said 5 cruise ships are there now, including Disney. Yeah, I knew they were distributing a lot of food and stuff like that, but it's a disturbance in the forest. Cheryl says, yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah, the forest is messed up. But anyway, rain up our way now. Yeah, well, it rained earlier. Maine will just get a little rain and wind from it. Yeah, I know that they're saying now that it's kind of turned out to sea. That it obviously hammered South Carolina a little bit. Now it hammered North Carolina. I think at the peak there was 250,000 people in South Carolina without power, and at the peak it was 190,000 people in North Carolina. And I think right now they were saying in North Carolina there's 148,000 people still with no power. in North Carolina. So we got the states got really, really lucky. I mean, we got really, really lucky. I mean, because it was, I mean, like literally, it sat in the Bahamas as a Category 5. It just sat over the islands for like a day, and just absolutely just pummeled the islands. And do you? Oh, like sushi? Yes, George, I do like sushi. Absolutely love sushi. Actually, I can tell you a story about my sushi story. You're gonna love that. I'll tell you in a little bit. Remind me, and I'll tell you about the sushi story. Um, but anyway, it's just the states. I mean, even with the damage down, through North Carolina and South Carolina, it could have been a lot worse. So we are really, really lucky. Do you think cannibalism will occur? What rat trap? I occur when? I'm not sure what you mean. If you're talking about a major SHTF situation and there was no supplies and stuff like that, would it happen at that point? It would not surprise me if that's what you're asking. It absolutely would not surprise me. The before and after pics of the Bahamas show it's underwater. Yeah, a lot of it, Sean. I saw that. Sean Wheeler just said that. Yeah, it was and the destruction is ridiculous. I mean, it's really, really sad. I think there's like 325,000 people in the Bahamas. So, JJ just said pirates invaded the Bahamas and are shooting and looting. Oh, there's always, you know what? You're always going to have people that are going to take advantage of tragedy, unfortunately. And that is, it's something that's always going to happen. You're going to have people that are going to help. Always going to have people going to do the right thing, if you will. And then you're going to have people that are going to take advantage of a situation. That just happens. It's just nothing really you can do about it. So, but it's unfortunate, but it's just the way that it is. But it's like I said, now that the hurricane now is down to a Category 1, which is good. I know it has strengthened again. It was a weird storm. The way that it did. Dirty people always. Yep, that's exactly. There's always going to be nasty people in the world. That's just the way. Unfortunately, the way it is. You have people that will try to take advantage of people. Well, you look at so there's all these phone calls going out now. All these scammers saying that they're the IRS and that you need to do this, or that your computer there's an issue and all this type of stuff. There's all kinds of scammers out there. Always working the phones, trying to get people to give them their information, give them their money and stuff like that. And it's just, but yeah, so it's just, there's always going to be, always, I'm sorry, I was looking at the comment and I totally lost my train of thought. And somebody said they hate it when I do that, but I'm trying to answer comments too, guys. So I mean, I know I'm never going to make everybody happy, and I'm not going to try to make everybody happy, but I do get distracted, and like I said, I try to see what you guys are saying and the comments that you're putting in there. So that's I'm always going to try to do that. But so anyway, yeah, it was like pretty decent all day. Then we had a little shower come through here. So not bad here at all. Not bad here at all. So, but it's I have to laugh. It's like, so the dogs. I got to tell you, so if you watched my video earlier, I was calling the dogs and they were gone, and so they decided to go up and visit their mom up at Greg and Chris's house, and so yeah, it was they were up there. I was so mad, and it was like, and I want to punish them. But then at that point, so I get there, open up the back door, and they jumped right in the car. So, I yelled at them. I didn't smack them or nothing, but God, they're frustrating. Very, very frustrating. If I'm not paying attention every minute with them, they're gone. And it's not Caesar, it's Pandora. She is the leader of the pack. So, it's crazy. But anyway, so yeah, they like to go up and visit their mother. And now they have she had another litter, and so they actually kept one of the puppies from that litter. So now she has a half brother. I know, it's like when one of the other neighbors got one of the puppies, and I said, that dog's going to have puppies all over the neighborhood. So it's pretty funny. But anyway, so, it's good to see so many people stepping up and doing good in this situation and helping the people in the Bahamas. Like I said, again, guys, now in the Bahamas, I mean, where are you going to go? I mean, they're pretty much in a situation where, they really couldn't bug out. Well, I guess they could have bugged out, but then you're talking about by a boat, and who has that kind of money? You know what I mean? So, but it's just it was difficult. They're in a tough situation. Let's see. It's going to hit Canada and the Maritimes. Julie clearly just said it. Yeah, I heard that it's going to hit up there, but it's not going to be that strong when it hits up in that area. So they're like I said, the worst of the storm is done, which is great. It's like I said, they're saying it's moving out to sea now. So it just it's and we're at peak time right now as far as hurricane season goes. So. Do not be surprised if another one comes in. There's all kinds of activity out there in the ocean and other things developing. So this is why we prep. I mean, this is in a nutshell why we get ready. When people people ask me quite a bit too. Let's see. Have you been to Niagara Falls? Get to see it before that you get too. Yeah. I've been down to Niagara Falls a lot, Mountain Girl. A lot. Niagara Falls is absolutely awesome. Either side, the American side or the Canadian side. Being from New York, and I lived in Rochester for years, it was an hour and a half away. And we would go all the time. So I'll tell you another funny story real quick. Hold on one second. And I got to tell you guys the sushi story too. But I'll tell you this story. So went into service right out of high school at 19. Okay, so when you sign up and then they take you up to Buffalo and they do the final swearing in and they ask you a bunch of questions. Okay, so like they'll say they'll ask you what drugs you've used and when was the last time you used drugs and all those type of things. Well, one of the things they said, and I'll never forget, this is so funny. They go, "Have you ever been out of the country?" And I went, Nope, never been out of the country." And the guy goes, "You never been to Canada?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, sure, lots of times." And he just looked at me, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's out of the country." So that's kind of my funny out of the country story. But, it was just, didn't think of it as out of the country because we just went up there so much all the time back in the day before you had to have a passport to get up there. So crazy. So funny. But so I got to tell you, we'll do the sushi story real quick, okay? So somebody had asked me earlier in the chat, do I like sushi? And so I said, yes, I do like sushi. Now, I had never had sushi when my second wife and I got divorced, and I didn't date. I'll be 100% honest, guys. After my ex-wife and I went our separate ways, I did not date for 2 years, not at all. I couldn't. I didn't want to. I was not interested in dating. Anything like that. So when I started dating again, I met a woman, and so we decided to go out to have dinner. So she said to me, "Have you ever had sushi?" And I said, "Never, not in my life ever." She goes, "Well, would you be interested in trying it?" And I said, "Sure." So we went to a Japanese steakhouse, and oh my God, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I had a great time. The food was fantastic. Never saw her again. And for a lot of reasons, but that's the one good thing that came out of that is I actually now love sushi. So that's too funny. But Tubular Guy 9, nope, can barely eat seafood anyway. Oh, I love seafood. Oh, shrimp, lobster, scallops, absolutely love them. Absolutely love seafood. Now here's another funny story. You're going to love this too. So my ex-wife hated seafood, couldn't stand seafood. So when we were together for 11 years, in 11 years, I went to Red Lobster twice, okay? Because, I catered to her and she didn't want to go and I wasn't going to make her go. So anyway, what happened was after we went our separate ways, I think I went 3 times the first month after she left. Sean Wheeler says, "I'll eat raw fish when SHTF happens." Yeah, I don't blame you. Hey, you know what? I would rather try to cook it, but Randy says, not to be nosy, but are you retired? Yes, I am retired. I stopped working as a nurse. It was a year ago in February. So I still have my license, but I do not plan on ever going back and working as a nurse again, to be honest with you. I love doing this. I love working on the property, doing things here. And I just, the politics and the BS, I miss my patients. I'll be honest with you. I had a great relationship with, my patients, but can't do management. And I don't kiss butt. Don't do it. Never have, never will. It's just the way I am. I speak my mind. And anybody that's watched my channel knows I speak my mind. So, but yeah, I can honestly say I do not miss it. If I go back to work at all, it would only be part-time. And I'm not even going to, I can honestly say I will not go back into nursing. I don't want to do it anymore. Burned out, had enough. And I just, with nursing, if I had to do it all over again, if I could have a crystal ball and go back in time, I would have been a physical therapist. And I'm going to tell you why. As a physical therapist, people get better and they go home. Okay. When you work as a nurse, especially if the different things that I've done with hospice and, working in nursing homes and doing home care, we deal with a lot of death. And once they come in, there's only one way they're going out, and that's on that gurney. So it wears on you. And, when you have management that doesn't give a crap about their people, CNAs or nurses, that gets old too. It really gets old. So, but Stace said I'd be a great speaker at schools. Oh, I'll tell you, I'd love to go in and talk to the kids. Yeah, I just, just from life experience and just, not even telling them what to do, but just to follow their dreams and never give up on things, and stuff like that. I would love to do that. Kevin H. said, my mom was a private duty RN, mostly terminal cases. Yeah, I did, Kevin. I did a lot of hospice, and I can honestly say that was one of the most rewarding things that I did, because I truly believe that there should be dignity in the death process as well. And, you treat people with respect, and, and if here's the thing is when you're in that situation and you're dying from whatever, be it cancer, whatever it is, people really need to vent, to talk about things, to get things out, and to be able to sit there and listen to them and try to give them some guidance and stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you I'll tell you a nursing story. Okay, so I was taking care of a gentleman, and he was, if you looked at him physically, he looked like he just came out of Auschwitz. That's how emaciated this guy was, and it was cancer that he had. And so we were talking, and we talked a lot, and he kept saying, I'm going to get my miracle from God, and I'm going to get up, and I'm going to get better, and I'm going to walk, and I'm going to leave here. Okay. And so I don't BS people. It's not in my DNA. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. So, him and I talked a lot. And so he started getting worse and worse, because obviously the cancer was ravishing his body, and he started to bleed internally. Well, what happens when you bleed internally, your stool will be black. I mean, like black, but it has a very distinctive smell. And when that happens, they don't have long. So I can remember sitting down with this man and saying to him, and let's say his name was Joe. And I said, well, Joe, I said, how long ago were you diagnosed? And he said, I think it was 3 or 3.5 years previously that he had been diagnosed with cancer. And I said, how long did they give you? He said, well, they gave me 6 months. And I said to him, did you ever think that your miracle was that you got an extra 3 years on this planet? And he looked at me and he went, you know what, Ed, I never thought about it like that. He goes, but that really makes a lot of sense. So when you're in that process and you deal with that type of situation, it is, there's a lot that goes with it. I mean, first of all, there's denial. You know, like you got cancer and like, no, wait, oh my God, not me. There's just no way. Okay. Then you gotta work through these stages. You deal with anger, and then eventually it comes to acceptance. And so, you know, to get to that point where they accept it and realize it, and some people just won't. They won't accept it, that it is what it is. And so, you know, it's very, very difficult. But if you can help guide people through that process, it is just unbelievable rewarding. I still have a letter that his wife wrote me after he died, and it really means a lot to me. And I go back and I'll read some of those old letters once in a while. But it's just, you know, unfortunately, I'm going to tell you what. I mean, anybody who watches the channel knows I am a cancer survivor. Okay, cancer is a monster. It doesn't care what race you are. It doesn't care what social economic background you came from. Cancer is decimating, and it just doesn't care. And it's just it's hard to watch. I watched my grandfather rot away from cancer. I watched my grandmother rot away from cancer. And in my family, we die of two things. We die of old age and we die of cancer. That's what we die from. And so, you know, Ed, is it okay to email you with a series of homesteading questions? Sure, Linda Smith, that's fine. You can do that. That's absolutely no problem at all. Yeah, just shoot me an email and I'll answer you whatever questions I can help you with. But Sean Wheeler said that's a gift you've been given, Ed. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I try to help. And it's weird because it's like, you know, with not being in nursing anymore and now doing this, what I do, it's the same thing. I'm trying to help people. And, you know, that's what gives me a lot of pleasure, is to help people. If I can educate people, if I can wake people up to help themselves, I think that's really, really important. And the more people, like I said, the more people that any of us guys, you, anybody out here watching, the more people that we can get to wake up and realize what's going on and we need to do something about it, that's one less person you got to worry about coming to take your stuff. So that's the way I look at it too, you know. Have you seen staff retaliate towards a nursing home resident? Have I? No, Lori. I don't think that, you know, people get, usually with the nurses and the CNAs, they're not taking it out on the patients with their frustration and anger. You'll see people flip out. I've seen people flip out on upper management. That I've seen a lot, I'll be honest with you. So, you know, and I get it, and I understand that frustration. You know, usually they just get to a point and they're like, screw this, I'm not doing it anymore. When you have people, especially like the CNAs, and they're getting mandated, and they're pulling 16-hour shifts all the time. Like in a 5-day week, maybe they're pulling 3 16-hour shifts out of 5 days. You burn out. You cannot keep doing that. It's not realistic. And so, you know, people get tired, and they get to a breaking point, and they just have enough. I figure I got 30 years in nursing, so I figure that's enough. You know, I'm always going to be a nurse. If the opportunity came up and I could do something like hospice again, I probably would, but never back on a full-time level. I'll be honest with you. I just don't want to do it on a full-time level anymore. Being on my feet like that in a nursing home, like I was with my last job, ever since I had my surgery, I can't go like I used to go. And I was eating Advil like it was candy. So, yeah, there's such a big turnover in that line of work. You're absolutely right there is, JJ. They can't keep nobody because they treat people like crap. You know, it's horrible. And it's like, it's a very, very thankless job. Hey, Vincent Koch, I was just at Walmart. I added to my preps every week. That's good. That is awesome that you're able to do that. I think it's important to stay vigilant and to keep going at it. I really do. Like I said, when I leave the house, if I'm out and about, I'm looking at what can I possibly do to add to my preps. I do it all the time. Now you're a wilderness nurse, Swamp Poppy Johnson. Yeah, I guess so. I just, like I said, if somebody needed my help, I'm absolutely going to help them in a heartbeat. That's just the way I am. But let's see. They treat nurses like commodities for the bottom line. Yeah, Sandy, you're right. It is a very, very thankless job. And the reason that people get into nursing is because they want to help people and they want to make a difference. And you have, let's just call them bloodsuckers, okay? Upper management is bloodsuckers. And they're going to suck every ounce of blood out of you that they possibly can, and then they're going to throw you away like a piece of garbage. Remember, guys, there's no job out there, any job that you're doing, that if you die tomorrow, they're not going to replace you with inside of 2 weeks. They don't care. It's not, if you did your 30 years and you got your gold watch and, whatever, however, that happens, you're forgotten in a heartbeat. It's just the way it is. I used to always tell people this: out of sight, out of mind. Whatever job you're at, and you have friends at that job, and that's great, and everything's wonderful. And then when you're not there anymore, if you stay in contact with maybe one or two people, that's a lot. It's just the way it is. It's that out of sight, out of mind mentality, and it happens all the time. It really, truly does. And but what are you going to do? I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it. Just, it is what it is. So, but that's the way it goes. I know I haven't even asked yet today, so I'm going to ask for the first time. If you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, guys, if you could throw me a thumbs up, I would definitely appreciate that. Are there food items that I should store that can handle the heat and the cold? MBG, there's definitely stuff that you can utilize. The biggest key is a dry and darker place. If you can keep stuff in a cool environment, that's going to be the better place to be. So, you really don't want to deal with a lot of that heat fluctuation if you don't have to. So the better things, I mean, like I said, you can do a cache. Have it buried underground. If it's underground, if it's under that frost line, it's always going to stay the same temperature. So you're not going to have as many issues with that if you do that. So I think it's better to do it that way. Do you think Kroger will ask the police to disarm because they're open carry? No, Schmitty, what they would do, Kroger or Walmart, they can just ask you to leave the premises. That's basically all they can do. And if you refuse to leave, then they would call the police. But as far as that goes, for their new policies, they don't want people to be armed, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I would want more people to be. And we talked about that the other day. But, yeah, I just, Derek X just said, I just bought a 15K seed pack. There you go. That's the way to do it, Wegmans in my area is doing the same as Walmart. Sandy P just said that. Well, again, like I said, if you're concealed carry, they don't know if you have it on you or not. To me, it's like the open carry thing. I don't have a problem with open carry. I really don't. But I think a lot of times, and this is just my opinion, I think a lot of times people that air open carry, it's basically like, look at me with my gun. I have my gun and I'm a big tough guy. I would rather very discreetly carry, not, take a drink from your tea. That's okay. All right, Stacey, talked me into it. Here we go, JJ. But I really believe that, I would rather be very discreet, have my protection, and not have everybody and their brother know that I had it on me. So that's my philosophy. I think a lot of the people that do the open carry, I mean, you guys have seen the videos with the open carry on the highways and stuff like that, or, whatever, because you can, but they do it because they want that confrontation with the police. They want to, these are my rights and I have my rights. You know what? We are allowed to do it, but in this era of the way things are now, people are scared to death. And so, they're going to get that reaction, but they want that reaction. Okay. Like I said, I believe that, if you're carrying and you're not advertising with the big sign, look at me, I got my gun with me. You don't need to do that. And if something happens, I can guarantee you, you take out a perpetrator and you're in Kroger, if you are in Walmart or, Wegmans or wherever, and you take down a perpetrator in that store that's in there killing people, you are going to be called a hero. They're not going to say, well, wait a minute. You didn't follow our policy. It's so ludicrous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so it's absolutely crazy. Water lines are typically 3 feet deep. Yeah, but if you go below the frost line, and the frost line, it can be, it depends on what part of the country you're in. When we put in our water lines, we went 4 foot deep with our water lines here, and we did it for a reason because it'll freeze at least a couple of feet, and so we go down that far. So and I let's see. 18 inches is the average here in Texas. Yeah, well, it's because it's like freaking 100 bazillion degrees in Texas all the time. You guys got to deal with some serious heat down there. I'm telling you what, that's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, Mountain Girl says, feeling bad for my neighbors in Canada with Trudeau. You know what? The same stuff is happening here, though, but Trudeau is definitely a waste of space. There's no doubt about that. We have plenty of them here, too, in the United States. We got plenty of them in New York. We have Cuomo. And then we got Chuck Schumer. He's also from New York. Absolute waste of space. But it's Vash said, I rode my motorcycle in 100 degrees for 10 straight weeks this summer. Oh, I believe it. Down there, you guys get really, really hot. And I'm going to tell you what, the best time to ride, honestly, the best time to ride is in the fall. It's not too hot. It's comfortable if you're layered up. It's just a really enjoyable. I went out riding today. I had some run around I had to do, and I took the bike out, and I think I did about 150 miles today on the bike, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and it was very comfortable. And I love it. I ride as much as I can, guys. I really do. Give us your winter prediction. I think we're in for just because of the way that the spring was so wet and so cold, and then we didn't even really have a spring and went right into summer. And then it seems like it's early this year that the weather has changed. Like the last probably 10 days of August, that change, you could feel it in the air. I think we're in for a bad winter. And I'm guessing when I say that, but it's just a feeling that I think we're overdue. We're going to get hit with some serious storms, and we're going to have a bad winter this year. I really think that's what's going to end up happening. Yep, I would rather be safe than sorry. Bury the water lines deep. Oh, absolutely, I agree 100%. If you go down, 3 or 4 feet with your water lines, it's not going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt them at all. And if you have a real cold snap, you're not going to have to worry about your lines freezing. And that's what it comes down to. You definitely don't want to do that because that ends up being more money down the road. Yeah, look up Trudeau. He's the son of Castro. No joke. I saw that they're saying that he was Fidel Castro's son. I mean, I don't know what the validity of that is, so I can't say, but I've heard that. Yeah, be careful down in deep holes. Kyle King just said, yeah, you don't want the walls collapsing on you. That's for sure. That is definitely not a fun thing. Do your solar racks hold up well in the snowstorms? Lots of snow. Well, JJ, we just put the new one in, and the reason that we put it at the angle that it is in, the snow is just going to slosh right off of that. So the old racks that I had, where I had the one, if you guys remember, that was literally like that, I was out and I was like always cleaning that one off all the time because that was sitting in an angle where the snow just piled up on it, and so that was kind of tough. But the way that the solar rack is now, the snow won't stay on that. So I'm really, really curious to see how we do this winter with power. I think it'll be really, really interesting. So. Let's see. Banks will be next, not financial gun manufacturers. It's just the whole thing right now. And like I said, we talked about it the other day, and somebody even made more of a point with like all the food, all the processed food that places like Walmart and everything else is selling, and people are getting very, very heavy. And so they said, why do they sell food? Because obesity is the biggest drain on the healthcare system, and it's a major, major issue. And I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who I was speaking with the other day, and we were talking about it, and it's like, and there's this whole thing now. And like, I'm not a smoker, so I don't smoke. So don't think that I'm like defending smokers, because I don't smoke, and I think it's a disgusting, dirty habit. That's just my opinion. But if you smoke, you smoke. But if you are out in public and you're smoking, you are vilified. It is socially acceptable to attack people verbally for smoking. Okay, that's fine, perfectly fine. It's okay to do that. Nobody's going to give you a hard time. Nobody's going to say, why are you doing that? What's wrong with you? They're going to just go, yeah, oh, that's right. Oh, that's disgusting. Blah, 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 blah. You want to smoke, smoke, knock yourself out. I could care less. You're doing it to yourself, okay? But if you say to somebody who is extremely overweight, and so what is extremely overweight to me, okay? When you're talking to somebody that's 100 plus pounds overweight, they can hardly walk, and those type of things, it's terrible for them. Okay, it's terrible for them, and it's but we can't say anything, because then you're fat shaming. It is ridiculous to me. When I was in high school and I graduated in 1984, okay, we had one fat kid in the whole school. One fat kid in the whole school. I'm looking at my daughter's school, and the number of overweight kids in those schools now is ridiculous. And to me, that is child abuse. I'm sorry. If you disagree, that's fine. But I think it's child abuse, because what you're doing is you're setting that child up for failure for the rest of their lives, unless they can get a hold of that and get it under control. And it's sad. It really, really is sad. I hate to see it. I hate to see these kids, that are like so obese that young. They're not going to have a long life. They're really not. And it's just, there's a lot of issues with that. The contents in milk solid have changed drastically throughout the, oh yeah, the milk is definitely different. That is for sure. But yeah, it's just, vegan diet is unsustainable. Kyle King just said, and some people, Heather actually had thought about, she goes, I thought about going vegan, she said, but I like meat too much. I just laughed. But it's like, we're not like huge meat eaters. Like, we're not like every day I got to go have my meat type of stuff. But it's pretty funny. But, we just, if we decide to have something, we're going to have it. I could never go vegan. It was never going to happen. So, what do we got here? Internet and smartphones equals fat early death. You know what, Furry Beaver? It's not necessarily that. It's just that these kids, all they do is they sit around and they play video games, and they don't do anything. They don't do the activities. I can remember as a kid, we'd get to the neighborhood kids. We'd all get together, and we would either play like either kickball or baseball. We had a telephone company that we would go there, and it had a huge wall. And we would take the tennis racket and, we would hit tennis balls against a wall. I mean, those are the things that and we were always out on our bikes, riding our bikes like crazy, and it's just not like that anymore. First of all, you can't just let your kids go anymore, because there's too many sickos out there. So, and Poor Choice has just said sad. It absolutely is sad. It's horrible. It's a different world. I know, like I said, basically we were told when it gets dark, be home. Our parents never knew where we were. We didn't have cell phones and everything else like they have now. We just did what we wanted to do, and so we were always banging in the woods and just, or going to this person's house to go swimming, or going to wherever. Right, in the Bahamas, yeah, where do you go when there's no place to go? You're right. I mean, it's like the only way that they could have gotten out of there in the Bahamas was by boat, to try to beat the storm. But how many people can afford to hop on a boat and go, okay, let's get out of here for a week? You can't. People just can't. I mean, I get that. I truly get that. It's a sad, sad situation. Really, really sad what happened out there with them. So, I remember when ketchup was considered a vegetable. That's funny. Yeah, Dev Hill. I do. Actually, I remember that too. Yeah, and Kevin H said most are poor in the Bahamas. They absolutely are. I mean, what's the industry? You know what I mean? Realistically, they live on an island. There's not a lot of things that they can do. Probably tourism, I guess, would be probably the biggest industry down there. And so, I mean, what do you do? So, yep. Ronnie said, be home before dark. Not now. No, now you got to pay attention to everything's going on with your kids. I mean, it's just you got to watch every second. You know, watch who they're hanging out with, because there's so many parents now that don't give a crap about their kids, and their kids just run buck wild. It was, I mean, we ran wild and we did what we wanted to do, but there was rules, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's like if you really got into some kind of crap, you know, you were going to get your butt whooped. I mean, now they don't even do that. They don't do that anymore. So, but so many different weird influences. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kyle King. Absolutely right. When I was a kid, it came home when the streetlights came on. Yep, Kevin H just said that. Exactly. Does it matter what size materials you use to build a Faraday cage? Dolores asked that. No, not really. Depending on what size you want to make. If you want to go with a bigger Faraday cage, go with a bigger Faraday cage. You know, I mean, it's just that's kind of an individual choice how big you want to make it. I mean, you could make a room into a Faraday cage. It's that's you know it's that doable. But again, it depends on what you're looking to put away and how big of an area you want to use. Kids seem to have a huge amount of homework too, thus curtailing outside playtime. Yeah, it's definitely. I know that like with Heather, she was in every advanced class that there was too, but she had a heavy workload. And I can remember, I think she was like in ninth grade, and I loved math when I was in school. By the time she got to ninth grade and she was showing me this math she was doing, I said, honey, I can't help you anymore. I said, it is beyond me. So, but yeah, it's definitely, but like I said, she was definitely in every advance. She's going to do awesome. So, I was going to tell you this. So she had to meet with her advisor at school. And so, she was asking Heather what she wanted to do. And obviously Heather said she wants to be a profiler with the FBI. So they said that she should do a minor in criminal justice. So she's going to do that. So I kind of wanted to give you guys an update. She actually just got a job too at the school. Actually, if you want to go and check it out on her channel at Hangout with Heather, she just uploaded a video today talking about, she just got this job at the school. So I'll let her explain that all to you. Let's see. They are the one that will be building our space station soon enough. Who's that, Kevin H? I didn't see what you were saying before that. But yeah, Heather's a smart girl, guys. And I'm going to tell you what, you want to see somebody that could get into politics and rise up through the ranks pretty quickly, that would be Heather. She's smart. Literally, I mean, that kid is squeaky clean. I mean, she's never been in trouble. She's never been in any kind of, physical altercation with anybody. She kind of kept a low profile, and, and she's a good kid. She's just a good kid. Hey, Randy Gerald, thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But anyway, guys, it really, going back to like the hurricane and stuff like that and what's going on with the Bahamas, I think that it's absolutely awesome that the people in the Bahamas, are getting the support that they need right now. I just think it's awesome. And it's just really, it gives me hope for mankind, because, we are inundated all the time, constantly, with nothing but negativity. And when you see something positive come out of something like that, I think that that's an awesome thing. I just think that it's wonderful. So, yeah, Vincent, you know what? I'd vote for Heather too. I really would. But so, guys, if you haven't shot me that thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I definitely would appreciate that. I see we got like 406 people in the chat. Deborah Dew, I don't know how to give more You're the best. Thanks. Well, thank you very much, Deborah. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. Thank you for that donation. It's very nice of you. And I am the best. No, I'm only kidding. I'm going to tell you what, guys. I am humbled, honestly, and I've said this before, and I don't BS. I was going to say the the word. I don't BS people, and so I do really truly appreciate all you guys, and you have no idea. You help me stay motivated. You really truly do, because it's like I want to continue to make progress. I want to continue to have things get done, because I don't want to be lazy. And you guys honestly, truly, truly motivate me. And if I motivate you on top of that, that's just a bonus for me. I'm really, really, happy about that. And so I saw just talking about something else too, that we had, they're going back to talks with China on the whole trade thing. So that's a good thing. It's just that whole thing, guys, is a game. I think Trump is trying to get us a better deal, and it's really hurting some people right now. But if he gets a good deal that is more favorable for us, that's going to help us more in the long run. And so, if a lot of times you got to give a little bit, you got to hurt a little bit to get a positive outcome on something. And so, it's not going to hurt him. Obviously, it's not going to hurt the president. But I think what he's trying to do, and this is just my opinion, I think he's trying to do what is best for us. Anna looks around for her boots to keep Ed motivated. Yeah, right. No, you guys really do. You guys really do motivate me. You do. There's things that I want to get done here even more. Like I want to get the skirting stained, but you're talking about, $40 a gallon for good stain to make sure that it's a good stain. So, I have to wait till I can afford to do that. And that's how it unfortunately has to go with everything. And so, but that's okay. I mean, it will get done. It might not get done this year. I hope that it will, but it might not. Because, if I can get the stain, then I'm going to get it done. And, but if I can't, then I'll just have to wait. And that's just how it goes. If you remember, anybody that's watched the channel, we ended up not getting the chicken coop and the solar rack in the year that I wanted to. I wanted to get it done last year. And I wasn't able to do that last year, but we did get it done this year. And it was great, And again, sometimes all good things come to those who wait, I guess is the right term that you say. I mean, it's just if you work at things and they come together, I truly believe everything happens when it should. I really, truly believe that. And it's a weird kind of thing, but it really makes a lot of sense, and things happen when they should. And hey, Sharon Galloway, Heather, we donate in credit to you, Ed. Thank you very much. Yeah, Heather's awesome, and thank you so much for that donation. She's a good kid, and Eddie's a good boy too. Don't let me think that I'm not talking about my son. Eddie has his own set of circumstances with the autism, which makes things harder for him. But he's absolutely a good boy, and he's doing well. And, but he keeps me on my toes. I will say that. Gigglebug said the new ID laws go into effect October of 2020, just before the elections. Yeah, I know the whole real ID thing. You can't go into courthouses. You can't fly and all those type of things unless you have that real ID. I know that's just the big thing they're pushing for. So that's the next thing. Advice, if you will, on the credit card debt: pay it off at one time or consolidate. I can't tell you what you should do or what you should not do. That's tough. The one thing I will say is don't ever pay a collection agency. Don't ever do that. But if you have a lot of credit card debt, there's so many different ways. If you consolidate it, you get a lower interest rate if you go through some kind of a company. But again, then they're taking a cut. If you can do it, if you can talk to the credit card companies yourself, maybe freeze that and work on paying that debt down, depending on how many different cards that you have. That's a tough call. That is a tough call, and that's an individual thing that you got to do what's best for you. Sometimes it's better just to walk away from all of it. You kill your credit, you're going to kill your credit for about 10 years. But sometimes in the long run, it's better for you, depending on how much you're in debt with the credit card companies. So with the real ID, you cannot fly or enter federal buildings. Yeah, that's what yep, that's what they were talking about. And that goes into effect as of 2020. Does Eddie go to any special program or training? No. Eddie, when he was in school, he was having some issues, and then they ended up putting him in a program with basically bad kids, to be honest with you. And all he did was pick up more bad behaviors because of that in school, not at home. He didn't pull none of that crap at home. And I had a battle with the schools down in Greece, New York, and down here. The last 2 years that Eddie was in school, he had a tutor come into the house, and he came to the house a couple times a week. And it was a complete waste of time, to be honest with you. I mean, the tutor was awesome that Eddie had. He was a great guy. I told him, you focus on math with Eddie, because that's something that he's going to need to have in life. Spelling wise, Eddie is like was always above 12th grade level. Spelling and reading, he's got that down. And but as far as, I'll tell you what, this is what I'll do. If I'm writing something and I'll go, Eddie, and he'll go, yeah. I go, how do you spell this? And he just boom, bangs it off, and he knows how to spell it. So I'll be honest with you, that's what I do a lot, because my spelling sucks. As anybody that's watched my channel knows, I absolutely am a terrible speller, but that's just kind of how it is. So now we're going to go a little past 9, guys, because of that glitch that happened, and I had to start over. So we're probably looking at about 8 or 9 more minutes, okay, just so you guys know. But yeah, Eddie's the spell checker. I'm going to tell you what, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. With me, Eddie, and Heather in the house, Eddie was the smartest person in this house. Heather's very, very smart. I'm no slouch myself, but Eddie is definitely very, very intelligent, highly, highly intelligent, but his brain just works differently. Eddie could not go and do a job. He could not sit still long enough, so he doesn't go to any kind of programs anymore. He's just home. Once he turns 18, I'm going to apply for Social Security for him at that point, so that he can have his own income. And that'll be his money, and he'll be able to do with that as he chooses. So, but, it is what it is. He's high functioning autism. He does not have Asperger's, and but he doesn't do well in crowds. He kind of likes to do his own thing and live his own life on his computer and those type of things. So that's just, it is what it is. Heather basically came to me and said, don't worry, Dad. She said, when something happens to you down the road, she said, I will make sure that Eddie is taken care of. And I just said to her, I said, my biggest thing is do not put him in a facility. That's my biggest thing. So, that's just the way it is. And she won't. She's a good kid. And, and she shouldn't have to have that responsibility. I know some of you are going to say, you shouldn't put that on her. But that's what family does. And she's willing to accept that. And whoever she ends up with is going to have to accept that as well. Eddie's not really that difficult to deal with. He has his moments, but not like when he was young. We dealt with a lot of stuff when he was young. It was very frustrating. It was very, very difficult. But, now if he has what I call like a temper tantrum, realistically, maybe once a year, that's about it. So, but... Yep, he's going to be fine, and Heather's going to make sure. Yep, that's what family does, exactly, and she will. And Eddie could probably have his own place, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And I'm not sharing my business with you, but I'm going to tell you when the kids turn 18 in October. What we're going to do is I'm going to go down and I'm going to have my will changed, and Heather will be the executor of my will. She will be in charge. She will be in charge of her brother's part of the inheritance or whatever, as far as that goes. But she is going to, watch out for him. She's going to be the one that's going to take care of things. And, and she will. And she's very, very responsible. And like I said, that's just who she is. And she's just, like I said, that's, she's just a great kid. So, and it's really important that family watches out for family, I think. So, Yeah, guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would appreciate it. We're almost at 200. We're at 199. So, but Mountain Girl said, "Yeah, both of my sons on my will." Yeah, and that's good, and that's the way it should be. Heather's more responsible. She's the one that will keep an eye on things for her brother, and I'm trying to get everything squared away here. That Eddie could stay right here, have everything in place, and not really have to do anything. So, have I thought about getting SSI for Eddie? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Brett asked me that. I'm going to do that when he turns 18. We're going to apply for disability for him at that point, because he cannot go out and get a job. He wouldn't be able to sit still long enough, and it's not going to happen. He doesn't have that attention span for that. He's on his computer and he'll do 8 or 9 different things all at the same time, and it's amazing to watch. But that's his world, and that's what he's comfortable in. And so, so I'm gonna get him Social Security when he turns 18, and like I said, that way he has his own income. What I do plan on doing, JJ said, Heather is wise beyond her years. Great kid she is. Yeah, she is. She's an old soul. I can remember when I was a kid, people used to say to me, "You have a very old soul." Heather has a very old soul as well, and she's just. But what I want to do for Eddie here is I want to get him his own place here. And so I'm looking at probably getting another building down the road here for him, so that he can have his own privacy and have everything right in there. So he has his own home, and it'll be completely self-sufficient, and he have everything that he needs or wants. And so that's the game plan. I don't plan on going anywhere for a long time, guys. I plan on being a very, very old man when I go, and hopefully it's right here. So, Sean Wheeler just says, "Nice chat, Ed, nice and clean." Yeah, well, you know what? I don't like. I can get my point across without using the F word and all that type of stuff. And so here's another story. Now I'm going to tell you what I do swear. I will be honest. I do that. I've told you guys that. The only difference between me on YouTube and in real life, I swear more. But I won't do it online, and it actually I've cut down on the swearing in real life because of that, to be honest with you as well. I remember I was out one time, and I was out at a bar having a drink, and there was a bunch of older guys, and I didn't realize at the time, but one of the guys at that end of the bar was the town judge. And that town judge said to me, and I'll never forget this, and I'm talking, I was in my 20s. He said, "You know what, young man?" He said, "You're very, very intelligent, and I can tell you are." He goes, "But you can make your point without swearing so much." And I really sunk in, and I thought about that, and he was 100% right. And so, like, when I did this channel and I wanted to be online and do this, I decided to make it a clean channel. I was not going to swear on here, and the reason why is because, you don't know who's watching, and if it's going to, offend somebody, and you can get your point across without using the F word every other word. You really can. And so, and people are going to pay more attention to you if you are articulating in a way without having to, swear every other word. So, and some people do, and I get it, and that's their prerogative, and they can do what they want to do. I've always chose not to. Albert Einstein cursed like a sailor, JJ just said. Well, you know what? It's actually funny. I've seen a lot of different things that said people with higher intelligence have a tendency to swear more, and that they're more honest, which I think is funny because that's me in a nutshell. I mean, I just say it like it is. I will not BS anybody, and, it's just the way it is. But like I said, with doing these videos, I wanted to make sure I kept it clean because, anybody can watch my stuff and they don't have to worry about, that type of stuff, or they could have their kids watch it and they're not going to have to worry about that type of stuff. Now, I will touch on touchy subjects. I will touch on topics that make people uncomfortable. And as you guys know, and, it's a bad habit that's hard to quit. It is. I mean, it absolutely is. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm pissed, if I'm angry, really, really angry, I will be honest with you. Every other word out of my mouth is the F word. It's like, but, does that make it right? No. But, that's just, Navy taught me well. Well, Fang just said, yeah, well, Yeah, there's definitely. Well, I'm going to tell you what, you wouldn't believe. You would think in nursing, because it's mostly women, they're the worst. They swear like drunken sailors. They are just, yeah, they really will rip it up. They do. They do. It's pretty funny, to be honest with you. Well, guys, we are getting at that point here now. If you haven't shot me that thumbs up yet, if you would do that before we jump off here, I would appreciate it. I do want to say before we do go, we are Legion, and I think that's important because we are many. That's why I say we are Legion. There's so many of us out here, and when the time comes, we can make such a difference in the world. And you look at the events that are going on right now. With South Carolina, North Carolina, the Bahamas. We are in a position where we can help our neighbors out. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we prep is we are ready for whatever. And I think it's really, really good that we have that opportunity and to be able to teach and to maybe educate people after these type of events. And maybe we end up getting more people into prepping and self-preservation, realistically. If we wake these people up and they go, God, I was caught with my pants down and, I don't want to be that way again. That's what gets a lot of, there's always an event that happens that is our catalyst that got us going. As you guys know, and I've talked about it before, mine was Hurricane Katrina. I saw what happened there. I saw what was going on, and I realized that the government was not going to help us. So I think it's really, really important. Like I said, at that point, that was my wake-up call, and my kids were all young at the time. And I'm like, you know what? It can happen in a heartbeat, and what are you going to do? And are you ready for that or not? And so that's what really got me going. And, it's just been a journey that's been a lot of fun, to be honest with you. And, here we are now. So, it's definitely well worth it. Well, anyway, guys, remember, we are all in this together. That is important to remember. Remember also to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. And, that's important to remember as well. Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that can stop you is you. Nobody else can stop you. I want to thank my moderators once again for being here and being diligent and staying on top of stuff. I appreciate you guys. I really do. And guys, if you haven't shot that last thumbs up yet here as we sign off, if you would do that, I would definitely appreciate that. So thank you, guys. I truly am humbled to be here for you guys, and it means a lot to me. It really, truly does. So I appreciate all of you, okay? I will see you all later. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe. I will talk to you later. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.